If you are staring at this screen right now, knowing exactly what you need to achieve today, yet feeling completely paralyzed by an invisible weight, do not scroll away. Stop right here. Your intuition has guided you to this exact moment because you are utterly exhausted by your own cycle. You know deep down the sheer magnitude of the potential you carry. You can feel it burning in your chest. Yet, day after day, you find yourself inexplicably trapped in the same frustrating loop of delay, mindless distraction, and that quiet, creeping regret that hits you when the sun goes down. You watch others effortlessly move forward, building the lives they want, while you remain anchored to the same spot by an unexplainable hesitation. Listen to me very carefully, and let these words sink in. You are not broken, you are not lacking ambition, and you are definitely not lazy. What you are experiencing right now is a silent, exhausting battle against your own defense mechanisms. But you have reached a critical tipping point. The very fact that you are absorbing these words means your consciousness is finally waking up to the reality of your self-sabotage. But this is a fragile state. If you choose to swipe away now, if you let this fleeting moment of clarity slip through your fingers, I promise you will wake up tomorrow morning wrapped in that exact same heavy blanket of guilt. You will surrender another day, another week, perhaps another year, to the ghost of, "I will do it tomorrow." Right now, in this exact, unrepeatable second, a vital window of opportunity has opened. Your mind is currently primed to shatter this loop, but it demands your immediate presence. You must choose to stay, to listen, and to confront the invisible barrier holding you captive. In the next few minutes, we are going to decode a profound truth about human behavior. I am going to show you how to uninstall the malware of self-sabotage that has been quietly running in the background of your nervous system for years. Once you understand the biological mechanics of this hidden fear, it instantly loses its power over you. You will no longer be a helpless passenger in your own narrative. You are about to discover the exact framework to disarm the mental alarms that keep you frozen, allowing you to finally step into the powerful, decisive version of yourself you have always envisioned. But first, you must make a physical commitment to anchor your mind to this present moment. If you are truly ready to face your resistance and permanently shatter this invisible ceiling, type 111 in the comments below. Let this simple, deliberate action be the very first step in reclaiming your focus, your energy, and your trajectory. Type 111 right now, take a deep breath, and let's begin the transformation. Think about the quiet hours of the night, when the noise of the world fades and you are left entirely alone with your thoughts. You know this feeling intimately. It is that heavy, sinking sensation in your chest as you stare at the ceiling, mentally calculating all the hours you wasted, all the tasks you avoided, and all the promises you broke to yourself just today. You tell yourself that tomorrow will be different. You swear that tomorrow you will wake up early, you will sit down at your desk, you will focus, and you will finally become the person you know you are meant to be. But when tomorrow comes, the cycle resets. The resistance rises like an invisible wall, and you find yourself doing anything, absolutely anything, to escape the discomfort of starting. You numb your mind with endless scrolling, seeking quick hits of dopamine to drown out the low-level anxiety that constantly hums in the background of your life. This is not just frustration. It is a profound, soul-deep exhaustion. It is the exhaustion of carrying a mountain of unfulfilled potential on your back, while feeling like your feet are cemented to the ground. You are tired, not because you are doing too much, but because you are spending an unfathomable amount of mental energy fighting against yourself. The friction between who you are right now and who you desperately want to be is quietly draining your life force. You watch the days blur into weeks, the weeks blur into months, and a terrifying thought begins to take root in your mind. What if I am simply incapable of change? What if this is just who I am? But I need you to pause right here. Stop the brutal internal monologue for just 1 second and listen to the truth about how your mind actually operates. You have spent years labeling yourself as lazy, undisciplined, and unmotivated. Society has taught you that your inability to move forward is a moral failing, a lack of willpower. But this is a fundamental, devastating misunderstanding of human behavior. Your paralysis has absolutely nothing to do with laziness. Laziness is comfortable. Laziness feels good. What you are experiencing does not feel good. It is agonizing. What is actually happening beneath the surface of your conscious awareness is that your nervous system is in a constant state of hypervigilance. Your brain, specifically the ancient protective parts of your mind, has incorrectly categorized your goals, your tasks, and your ambitions as severe threats. Perhaps it is the paralyzing fear of failure, the dread of not being good enough, or even the subconscious terror of success and the unknown responsibilities that come with it. Whatever the trigger is, your nervous system is simply doing its job. It is desperately trying to protect you. It throws you into a biological state of neurological freeze. The crushing weight you feel when you try to sit down and work is not a lack of drive. It is your brain hitting the emergency brakes to keep you in the safety of the familiar, even if that familiar is miserable. Your mind is literally burning through all your available energy reserves to build a fortress around you, keeping you perfectly safe and perfectly stuck. When you understand this, everything changes. You realize that you are not broken. You are not a failure. You are simply operating with a miscalibrated defense mechanism that is working overtime. The exhaustion you feel is the result of this massive internal war, a war where your conscious desires are battling your subconscious survival instincts. To break free from this, you must first do the hardest thing imaginable. You must forgive yourself. You must put down the weapon of self-criticism that you have been using to beat yourself into submission. Guilt is not a strategy for growth. It is a heavy anchor that keeps you drowning in the same behavioral loops. The very first step to rewiring your psychology is to replace that brutal self-hatred with profound, radical self-compassion. You have to look at that scared, overwhelmed part of your mind and realize it was only trying to keep you safe from perceived harm. I want you to physicalize this release right now. I want you to take a slow, deep breath, hold it for a second, and as you exhale, physically release the tension in your shoulders. And as a symbol of this internal shift, gently support this video with a like. Do not do it just for the sake of a click, but let it serve as a tangible, physical contract with yourself. Let that small action be a gentle embrace of your own psychological wounds. By pressing that button, you are sending a clear signal to your subconscious that you are officially dropping the guilt. You are acknowledging your struggle, you are validating your exhaustion, and you are making peace with the protective mechanisms that kept you safe for so long. You are declaring that the war against yourself is over. Only in this space of quiet acceptance, when the mental alarms are finally silenced, can true, lasting behavioral change begin to take root. You are ready to lay down your armor. Now that you have laid down your armor and stopped the war within yourself, we can finally look at the actual machinery of your mind. For decades, science believed that once we reached adulthood, our brains were fixed, hardwired, set in stone. Society told you that if you were a procrastinator, you would simply die a procrastinator. But modern neuroscience has uncovered something infinitely more beautiful and deeply hopeful. A concept called neuroplasticity. Your brain is not a rigid computer, it is a living, breathing, profoundly adaptable organ. Every single habit you have, including the destructive habit of self-sabotage, is simply a neurological pathway that has been reinforced over time. Imagine a vast, wildly overgrown forest. The very first time you chose to avoid a difficult task out of fear, you walked through the thick brush, creating a faint, barely visible trail. The next day, when faced with a similar challenge, you took that same trail because it was slightly easier than forging a new one. Over the years, you have walked that exact path of avoidance thousands upon thousands of times. It is no longer a trail. It has become a wide, smooth, paved highway. When you are faced with a goal, your brain automatically routes you down this highway because it requires the absolute least amount of energy. Your procrastination is not your destiny. It is just your biology optimizing for efficiency based on past behavior. But here is the absolute magic of neuroplasticity. You have the power to stop using that highway. You can choose to step off the pavement and forge a brand new path through the forest of your mind. The first time you push through the resistance and take immediate action, it will feel uncomfortable. You will feel like you are hacking through dense vines and heavy underbrush. It takes conscious, deliberate effort. But the second time, it is a little easier, and the third time, easier still. Meanwhile, what happens to that old paved highway of procrastination? Because you are no longer giving it energy, the forest begins to reclaim it. Grass grows over the asphalt. The neural connections weaken, physically shrink, and eventually dissolve. You are literally, physically altering the structure of your brain with every new choice you make. You are not a victim of your past behavior. You are the architect of your future mind. Every time you choose action over avoidance, you are carving a new neural pathway toward the life you truly deserve. I want you to visualize what this actually looks like in your daily reality. Soften your gaze for a moment. Let go of the tension you are still holding in your jaw, and let me paint a picture of a morning that is waiting for you in the very near future. You open your eyes, and the very first thing you notice is the profound absence of dread. There is no heavy, suffocating weight pressing down on your chest. The residual guilt of yesterday is completely gone, washed away in the night. You sit up, and your mind is perfectly, beautifully still. The chaotic noise, the endless overthinking, the desperate bargaining with yourself to sleep for just 5 more minutes, it has all evaporated. You step out of bed with a quiet, undeniable sense of purpose. You go about your morning routine, brewing your coffee, feeling the warmth of the mug in your hands, watching the morning light filter through the window, and you are entirely present. You are no longer living in the anxiety of the future or the regrets of the past. You sit down at your desk to face the work that used to paralyze you. But instead of that familiar icy wave of resistance, you feel a deep, grounding current of clarity. You look at your goals, and they no longer resemble towering, impossible mountains designed to crush you. They are simply logical, actionable steps. You begin to work, and it feels astonishingly natural. You slip into a state of flow, where time seems to bend and the friction between thought and action completely disappears. You are no longer fighting yourself. You are moving in perfect alignment with your deepest intentions. When the day draws to a close, you lean back, and a wave of profound satisfaction washes over you. It is a quiet, steady pride. You are finally meeting the version of yourself you always knew existed, the version that was buried beneath years of survival mechanisms and false beliefs. This is not some distant fantasy or a fragile fairy tale. This is the biological destiny waiting for you on the exact other side of your resistance. This is what it feels like when your mind becomes your greatest ally instead of your darkest, most exhausting prison. The bridge between the frustration you feel right now and that powerful, tranquil morning is built entirely on awareness. It begins with moments exactly like this one, recognizing the outdated patterns, forgiving yourself for them, and choosing, step by step, to rebuild the pathways of your mind. You are standing at the threshold of a massive internal shift, and the momentum has already begun. If these words resonate with your spirit, if you can feel a subtle but undeniable awakening happening within you just by listening to this frequency, I invite you to anchor yourself to this journey. Subscribe to this channel right now. Make this space a deliberate sanctuary for your continued growth. Subscribe if you truly believe that the most monumental, life-altering changes will always begin with the smallest, most quiet realizations within your own mind. By joining this community, you are not just watching a video, you are actively participating in your own neurological rewiring. You are casting a powerful vote for the person you are becoming. The seed of hope has been planted, the soil of your mind has been cleared, and your new reality is already taking root. But here is the absolute truth that the traditional self-improvement industry refuses to tell you. What if you do not have to wait months or years to build these new neural pathways? What if the bridge between where you are sitting right now and that morning of ultimate, effortless clarity could actually be crossed in a matter of seconds? While deep psychological healing and awareness are essential, your brain also possesses a biological backdoor, a hidden override switch. Recently, behavioral scientists and elite performance researchers have uncovered a profound anomaly in human neurobiology. They discovered what is now being referred to as the 7-second protocol, a highly specific, neurologically targeted mental trigger designed to completely bypass the amygdala's freeze response. This is not about positive thinking, forced discipline, or repeating empty affirmations in the mirror. It is a precise cognitive mechanism that literally interrupts your brain's fear response in real time, instantly rerouting your decision-making center away from paralyzing anxiety and flooding it with the neurochemicals required for immediate, effortless action. For years, this protocol was kept quietly circulating among high-level executives, elite athletes, and individuals operating in extreme, high-stakes environments where a single moment of hesitation equals failure. But recently, leaked clinical data has shown just how devastatingly effective this technique is for ordinary people battling chronic, crippling procrastination. In independent, anonymous trials, individuals who had been trapped in self-sabotaging loops for over a decade were introduced to this 7-second neurological interrupt. The results were staggering. Participants did not just report feeling slightly more motivated. They experienced a complete, involuntary shift in their behavioral baseline. People who previously could not bring themselves to open an important email were suddenly executing complex, multi-step projects without a second thought. Their brains were no longer fighting them. Brain imaging from these studies reportedly showed that within exactly 7 seconds of deploying this trigger, the neural traffic physically shifted away from the brain's panic center and surged directly into the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for logic, execution, and relentless drive. It is, quite literally, a biological reset button for your ambition. Because of the disruptive nature of this information, it is not being widely broadcasted. The traditional self-help industry thrives on keeping you in a loop, dependent on endless books, expensive seminars, and temporary motivational highs. A protocol that permanently fixes the root cause of procrastination in seconds threatens that entire system. Therefore, the page detailing exactly how to execute this 7-second protocol is highly restricted and could be taken offline at any moment without warning. This is your ultimate tipping point. You have the awareness, the desire, and now, the exact tool is sitting right in front of you. Do not let your old, self-sabotaging habits whisper that you can just check this out later. Later is exactly how you got stuck in the first place. Click the link in the description and the pinned comment right now to access the 7-second protocol before this window of opportunity closes forever. Now, I want you to take a slow, deep breath in, and as you exhale, let go of any urgency or tension that may have just spiked in your chest. Let the rapid beating of your heart slow down. Let the environment around you soften. The world outside this screen is loud, demanding, and constantly trying to pull you into a state of panic. But right here, in this exact moment, you are entirely safe. Whether you choose to utilize the tool I just shared with you, or whether you decide to navigate this journey of rewiring your brain entirely on your own, there is a fundamental truth that you must internalize right now. The ultimate power to heal, to change, and to rise has always belonged to you. You are not a fragile vessel waiting to be rescued by an external force. You are a deeply resilient, infinitely capable human being who simply lost their way in the dense fog of a hyper-vigilant nervous system. Do not let the desperation of wanting to change make you forget the immense strength it takes to simply survive the mental battles you fight every single day. The fact that you are still here, still listening, still seeking a way to better yourself after years of internal exhaustion is the absolute proof of your unbreakable spirit. Your desire to grow is louder than your fear of failure, even if it hasn't always felt that way. Rest in that knowing for a moment. Allow your shoulders to drop. Unclench your jaw. Give yourself the profound permission to just be for a few seconds, without the heavy burden of having to achieve, fix, or solve anything. You are already enough, exactly as you are in this very second. The changes we are talking about, the productivity, the clarity, the success, those are just beautiful byproducts of a mind that has finally found peace. But the peace itself, that is your birthright. It is already inside you, waiting quietly beneath the noise, ready to be uncovered. As you settle into this calm awareness, I want us to look back at your past together. I want you to look at all those moments you labeled as failures, all those days you spent frozen in procrastination, all the opportunities you feel you let slip through your fingers because you were too afraid to take the first step. For years, you have looked at your timeline as a graveyard of wasted potential. You have carried the memory of those moments as evidence of your inadequacy. But what if I told you that you have been reading your own story entirely wrong? None of that time was wasted. Not a single second of your struggle was in vain. What you called failure, the universe calls preparation. What you called procrastination, your psychology recognizes as a necessary period of incubation and protection. You had to experience the crushing weight of that frustration. You had to feel the agonizing disconnect between your reality and your potential. Why? Because that intense, burning friction was forging a level of empathy, resilience, and emotional depth within you that cannot be built in times of comfort. You were being forged in the fire of your own internal resistance. Think about a bow and arrow. For the arrow to shoot forward with devastating power and precision, it must first be pulled backward, creating immense, trembling tension. You have spent years being pulled backward, feeling the tension build and build until you thought you might break. But you didn't break, you endured. And now, you possess a quiet, unshakable strength that those who have never struggled will never understand. When you finally release this tension and step into your true potential, you will not be arrogant or careless. You will move with the profound grace and wisdom of someone who knows exactly what it costs to overcome their own darkness. Your past stumbles were not mistakes. They were the absolute necessary curriculum for the mastery of your own mind. They were the friction required to strike the match that is about to light up the rest of your life. Every tear of frustration, every night of guilt, every heavy sigh, they have all perfectly aligned to bring you to this exact moment of awakening. And now, as this profound realization settles into your bones, we must anchor it. We must take this fleeting feeling of clarity and lock it permanently into your nervous system so that it becomes your new default state of being. You cannot just listen to these words and let them fade away when the video ends. You must claim this new paradigm. You must draw a distinct, immovable line in the sand that separates who you were from who you are consciously choosing to be right now. There is immense, scientifically proven power in declaring your intentions physically. It bridges the gap between the intangible world of thought and the physical world of action. Therefore, I want you to do something very specific for me. I want you to go to the comments right now and type these exact words. I am the master of my mind. Do not just type it mindlessly. As your fingers strike the keys, I want you to feel the weight and the truth of that statement. I am the master of my mind. Let this be your new internal mantra, a quiet but fierce declaration of sovereignty over your own biology. By typing this, you are officially evicting the voice of self-doubt that has lived rent-free in your head for years. You are signing a physical contract with your future self, promising that from this day forward, you will no longer be a victim of your automatic defense mechanisms. You are stepping back into the driver's seat of your life. Whenever you feel the old shadows of procrastination trying to creep back in, I want you to remember the exact feeling of typing those words. Remember this calm, this certainty, this absolute quiet power. You are the master of your mind, and your new life is officially beginning right now. Let's take a moment to look at the journey you have just taken. When this video began, you were carrying the exhausting weight of 1,000 unfulfilled promises. You felt paralyzed, trapped in a cycle of delay, believing that your inability to move forward was a permanent flaw in your character. But in these past few minutes, the veil has been lifted. You have finally seen the truth. You have uncovered the biological reality that your procrastination was never a lack of ambition, but simply a misguided defense mechanism, a neurological shield trying to protect you from the fear of the unknown. By understanding this, you have officially stripped that fear of its power. You have learned that your brain is not a rigid cage, but a dynamic, adaptable landscape that you can reshape at any moment. The heavy fog of guilt that clouded your vision has cleared, replaced by the undeniable clarity that you are in complete control. You are no longer the passenger. You are the architect. The awareness you hold right now is the most powerful catalyst for human transformation. You have recognized the invisible barriers, and by simply seeing them for what they are, you have already begun the process of dismantling them. But awareness alone is not the final destination. It is the starting line. Now that your eyes are open and your mind is primed, the time for hesitation is entirely over. You are standing at the exact crossroads where your old, familiar life ends and your new reality begins. Do not let the fading echoes of your old habits trick you into waiting until tomorrow. Tomorrow is the very illusion that kept you chained in the first place. You have the momentum right now. You possess the key to bypassing that biological resistance and stepping effortlessly into a state of execution and flow. Remember the 7-second protocol we discussed, the precise neurological trigger that rewires your brain's fear response into relentless, focused action. This is your moment to claim it. Do not let this vital window of clarity close. The bridge to your ultimate potential is right in front of you, but you must be the one to step onto it. Click the link in the description and the pinned comment right now. Access the protocol, shatter the final remnants of your self-sabotage, and officially begin the transformation of your daily reality. Take the action your future self is desperately begging you to take. Click the link now, before this restricted tool is removed, and take back complete control of your destiny. As you take that decisive step forward, let a profound sense of calm wash over your entire body. Close your eyes for just 1 second. Feel the quiet, undeniable certainty radiating from within your chest. You have fought a long, silent battle, in the dark for years, and you have survived it. The hardest part of the journey is officially behind you. From this moment on, you walk with the quiet, unshakable strength of someone who has finally mastered their own mind. There is no more rushing, there is no more punishing yourself, there is no more fear. There is only a steady, peaceful, and powerful progression toward the life you were always meant to live. You are safe, you are infinitely capable, and you are ready. Take a deep, final breath in, and as you exhale, step freely into your new beginning. Thank you for trusting this space, and, more importantly, thank you for finally trusting yourself.